Good evening. Will the Board of Trustees, Pasadena Area Community College District for April 4th, 2018 come to order? Roll call, please.
Dr. Fellow?
Here.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Ms. Brown? Here. Mr. Martin?
Here.
Dr. Selvage?
Here.
Ms. Wah? Ms. Ekshin?
Thank you. We have two items on the closed session this evening, and dealing with evaluation of employee and Government Code 54957, search for superintendent president. Do we have any comments?
No comments.
Seeing none, we'll move into closed session. Thank you. I'd like to report what happened in closed session, and there was no action taken. So we're going to proceed this evening, and good evening to everyone. And I'm going to call the Board of Trustees for Pasadena Area Community College District for April 4th, 2018 to come to order. Roll, please.
Dr. Fellow?
Here.
Mr. Osterling? Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Ms. Brown? Here. Mr. Martin?
Here.
Dr. Selvage?
Here.
Ms. Wah? Here. Ms. Ekshin?
Here.
Thank you. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask the Associated President, Kylie Lamb, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. Thank you, Ms. Lamb. The first order of business today is the approval of the agenda, and I would like, in that motion, to move H1, which is our meeting with the Associated Students this evening, to the top of the agenda. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Mr. Hoyt. Mr. Hilsman, excuse me. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. It is now the time for introductions and recognitions, and I'd like to call, first of all, Alex Buckleworth to the stand, Bucklehyde to the stand.
Thank you and good evening. I had the pleasure of attending last month the national conference of the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations Professionals. This is an organization of people like me at two-year colleges around the country. And I was even more pleased to accept on behalf of Dr. Verdian a pretty outstanding award that he received from the organization. Every year, the various districts of this group give out an award called the Pace Setter of the Year Award. This is given to executives at colleges around the country who are particularly renowned for their ability to support marketing, public relations, and branding at their colleges, and folks who just believe in that sort of activity. And I was proud to nominate Dr. Verdian, and I was even prouder to accept it for him. And I just thought it was worth bringing up tonight that we honor Dr. Verdian for his work in branding and marketing here at PCC. And I would like to say, too, in accepting the award, I was speaking to a room of people from California and elsewhere in the district, and many of the folks in the room had previously worked with Dr. Verdian either directly or just tangentially because he's had such a long tenure in the state. And so it was especially wonderful to receive this, on the occasion of your retirement this year. So, Dr. Verdian, congratulations. He didn't know I was doing this tonight either, so this is a bit of a surprise.
Surprise to him. Thank you very much. This is the time for public comments on non-agenda items. Do we have any this evening?
Yes, we have three speakers. I would call first Manuel Jimenez Ibarra, and I would remind the speakers that they have 3 minutes to speak. You'll see the lights to your side, which will indicate at flashing yellow that you have 30 seconds, and I'll call your time when it expires. Mr. Jimenez Ibarra.
Excuse me, I have a question. Yes, I was wondering if I could put a presentation for about 3 minutes on the board. It's only about 15 slides, depicting more information. It'll be easier for the people to understand.
As long as there's no objection from the board and you stay within the 3-minute limit, I think
course.
that would be appropriate.
Would that be fine?
Yeah, are you prepared to do that right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fire away.
Should I say something?
Excuse me, may I ask for assistance in the computer, please?
So let me suggest that I proceed
Right.
with the other speakers because we have 2 more speakers.
Okay, that's
while
completely
you set up
great.
the computer.
That is completely efficient, yeah.
I'd call Keith Yareni. Keith Russell Yareni.
Hello, everybody. I'll make this quick due to the short time that we have. My name is Keith Tate. I'm a member of the ad hoc student trustee headed by Emily. I'm also a part of the academic committee headed by Jude. And I just wanted to introduce myself to you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Russell Matthias. I'm also on Trustee Emily's ad hoc committee. This semester, we've been working on creating a survey to assess how students feel about our outreach activities and other student services. And we'd basically like to compare these results that we collect this time to the previous semesters. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Yareni Reyes. I'm also a member of Emily's Student Trustee Committee. I just wanted to say that we're currently working on a hygiene product drive alongside with Caduceus Club, the medical club here on campus, which she will talk about more in depth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.
So there are no further speakers in that group. Now I'd call Brittany Salinas.
Hello, I'm Brittany Salinas. I'm Vice President of Armenian Students Association here at PCC. I am, unlike the rest of my board, not Armenian. I'm Mexican and European descent, and I'm really passionate about this club because we actually learn a lot about the culture and the history of Armenia. And on April 24th of this year, it will be the 103rd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide of 1915. And, sorry. I just wanted the board to recognize that, and also we were actually hoping to have classes teach the history of Armenia and the Armenian Genocide as well, so that it will be further recognized. As after the genocide happened, the Turks who actually murdered the Armenians denied it. So I'm not putting blame on anybody, but a lot of people that are descendants of those who were killed are still feeling the pain, and they just want the recognition. And so thank you for your time. I just was hoping that that would be recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Salinas.
Thank you.
We usually do have a certificate of recognition
Yeah.
with the community. It will be next month.
And ASA is also putting on an event in commemoration of the genocide on April 23rd. It's a Monday at 6 p.m. here at Pasadena City College. And I'm hoping that all of you will attend.
Let us know. Thank you, Ms. Salinas.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then thank you. Mr. Jimenez Ibarra, I will give you 3 minutes.
Is it fine if I iterate while I put the presentation on my Google Drive? So necessarily, I do believe we're in a time within the community district and within the world where I do see a lot of separation within different types of problems that are being solved, such as she was stating, a recommemoration of pretty much different wars that are going on, school shootings. So necessarily, I've been working on a project, or at least something that I can work with community school districts in order to hopefully bring the student body more together. And what this is a topic in which has actually been discussed for quite a while by different schools, which is dorm rooms. Necessarily, I do believe that getting dorm rooms for the school would actually increase academic success, increase international students coming to the university, to the community college, forgive me. And I do believe that if we are able to do this as a school in the way that I will show you, which is based on mathematics and principles of actually anybody can understand in a way where it's a cause that we would all support. Just give me a moment to sign into my Google Drive and I will continue. But what I'm trying to say is that this project is, I called it Project Domum. So it's basically a project I started when I was younger. Before I actually started just engineering things, like I tried re-engineering turbines into dehumidifiers for water in countries where there necessarily wasn't too much water. I kind of did all right at that. I actually haven't shared a lot of my projects that are on my Google Drive because I'm just kind of like, I'm just a nerd scientist guy, So give me one moment, please, and I will show you this project I was working on.
How many minutes does he have?
So I might suggest if you're not able to bring it up because you only have 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah, I
you-
got it. How do I connect this computer's? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think your time is running out.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry
you
about
have 30 seconds. What I might suggest,
Yeah.
if you could make a hard copy of this, I
Right.
think you might be able to distribute it to the board.
that. Okay, yeah. If I can distribute this to you, do you think I could just go over the main? Well, I'll go over like what do I have, like 10 seconds?
I'm afraid not, yeah.
All right,
I think it's best that you give us a hard copy.
We'd be,
all right,
we-
Okay, thank you.
I will definitely. Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Or distribute the electronically.
Yeah, I'll email them to you right now.
terrific.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Navarro.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yes,
Thank you.
that concludes comments.
This is the time for approval of minutes of our regular board meeting held March 21st. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Osterling. Any discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We also need to approve the minutes of the special meeting held March 28th, 2018. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval?
We have a motion from Ms. Brown. I'll make a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Student trustee?
I abstain because I wasn't there.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously with the student trustee abstaining. At this time, we're going to be moving up item H1 today. It is our annual meeting with the associated students. And what I'd like to do is have President Lamb introduce the students out here in leadership. And then I think you have a slide presentation. And
The PowerPoint, we'll start the introductions within the PowerPoint,
Okay.
whenever that can be ready. Okay, wonderful, thank you. So, of course, this is the annual Joint Board of Trustees meeting. I am more than excited to showcase how wonderful my board has been this year and all the great things that they've been doing for PCC. So next slide, please. So this year, as a board, we really felt that it was important to focus on why we were doing this job, what are our goals, how are we going to accomplish them, and what exactly are the steps necessary to achieve these goals. And so this year, our main themes were innovation and equity. And so in terms of equity, our why is to provide an equitable environment for our students. And we will be doing this by making sure that all of our events and our efforts really contribute to our why, and our what is what we will be presenting on today. So next slide, please. And so introductions and highlights, some of the bullet points over here are some of the important things that we'll be brushing upon during our presentation. And so starting with Emily, I would like to start our introductions.
Hello and good evening. As you already may know, I am the student trustee. Currently, I'm the chair of the student trustee committee, and our goal as a committee has been to advocate for student concerns, and we have particularly been interested in understanding the trends of student activity on campus. We have achieved this goal by conducting surveys and hosting events centered on creating a sense of community on campus. Thank you.
Oh, don't press it, sorry. Hello, I'm Adrian Casillas. I'm the Chief Justice for the Supreme Council. The Supreme Council and I are the judicial side of student government. We try to reinforce the structure of student government, working directly with governing documents such as the Constitution and bylaws. The approach that I decided to take this year was more in an equitable manner, amending the language within the documents so that more students can understand and let it just flow better. Hi.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabby Guo and I serve as the Vice President of External Affairs of our board. My goal for this year was to educate and empower students in terms of political issues, and upcoming in the year we're going to be producing a student testimonial video that will hopefully serve as the voice to the facts and informations that we'll be providing to legislative offices. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leanne Zhang. I am the Vice President for Campus Activities. Oftentimes, students come to campus, they go home without really getting involved, and I am here to change that by doing interactive and new events. I want students to feel like PCC is their home, to have PCC pride, and to feel excited to come here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yahya Hagag. I'm the Vice President for Cultural Diversity, and my goal for this year was to expand the definition of culture on campus. One approach for that was creating the meditation hour, which the way it serves students is providing a space for them to meditate and self-reflect and connect with their spiritual side. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dominic Kalyipel, and I'm Vice President for Student Services. One of my many goals this semester is to help students de-stress and relax during their finals or any other testing period. I do this through an event called Relaxation Week, where I provide free services like masseuses and food and snacks for all students to help them, do their tests better.
Good evening, my name is Tara Gahi and I'm currently the Vice President for Sustainability with a personal goal of addressing food insecurity on campus. In order to do this, I have held a food drive and I'm also holding another one tomorrow. And in addition to that, I'm working with Food Forward to create a long-term sustainable system of providing produce to our food pantry. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie Lau, and I'm the Vice President for Public Relations. I love my position, and coming into this job, I came in to innovate publicity for associated students, where publicity is not just about showcasing our events, but showcasing what our students care about and the things that they hold important. So one of the things I have done is creating this new social media campaign where we have a student feature where we go around campus and we interview random students just to know their story, as well as club spotlights to emphasize how important the clubs here are on campus, as well as an AS comic just to add a fun touch to associate students. And in terms of things important for students, we hosted a mental health awareness week, which I will elaborate more down in this presentation, but I really hoped to create something different for our students and make a connection with them. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alejandro Chavez. I am the Vice President for Business Affairs and also the Chair of the Finance Committee. My job is to keep in track of the finances of the associated students, but this year I took also a different approach to my position. I took my committee and myself to a journey into equity, and I actually worked very hard together with Jude Khatib, and you will learn more about how I took this position and the approach I took in terms of equity and innovation. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, my name is Jude Khatib and I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs. My goal for this year was to reach out to students and be innovative in understanding their academic needs. I worked with my committee by having surveys and booths to understand their needs, and one of the big projects that I'm working on with Alejandro Chavez, which is community nights, we will be elaborating on that later in the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Morales, and I'm the Executive Vice President. I work with the clubs and organizations on campus, and my goal this year was to bridge the gap between AS and clubs, and how that's been done will be covered further in the presentation.
Next slide, please. And so One of the biggest things that we wanted to focus on this year was really taking action. Last year, we realized that due to certain political situations, that it really left students in distress. And so as AS, it's our job to serve the students and make sure that we can provide a comfortable learning environment for them to increase student success. And so one of our efforts was through our advocacy on and off campus. Like mentioned earlier, food insecurity was one of really our main focuses here on campus. How do we expect students to perform well academically when they can't even have the basic needs? Next, mental health, again, is also something that I was important as well, and I'll have Natalie speak a little bit about that.
So our approach to mental health was in light of the incident that happened a couple months ago, and we really felt that our students needed to know that we as associated students are here for them. And with this mental health event that I hosted in collaboration with Emily, was that we really wanted to embrace all students and give a more hands-on approach, a more personal approach to our students. So we did invite Parexel International, which is a pharmaceutical company. We brought in the Suicide Prevention Foundation. We had personal counseling to help educate our students about what mental health is. As for the AS Touch, we created these activities where students could come in and write their thoughts, which we call the Good Vibes Jar, where students could write anonymous notes to each other just so that students know they're not alone. We also had an event, an activity called the Promise Tree, where students could go up and write their goals, dreams, and aspirations. And in the coming weeks, we will be hosting a part 2 of this mental health event, where students can come back and see what they've written to see how things have changed throughout these past couple of months. So mental health is an issue present amongst our student body. All of us go through it, whether it be small or big. Mental health is important, and this is our contribution to our student body. Thank you.
All right. And then next, one of our biggest topics too is DACA and our dreamers as well. Last semester, as I've mentioned previously, in our advocacy weeks, we really focused a lot on serving our undocumented students. We even drafted a resolution this year as well that is easily accessible and the wonderful booklets that Natalie had provided for y'all. And y'all even have an electronic copy on your USB as well, so you are covered. And also next, something that we're currently working on too is making sure that we can provide better resources and opportunities for international students. And then lastly, our advocacy off campus, I will have Gabby Guo explain to y'all.
Hello, so as the Vice President for External Affairs, I also chair our Student Lobby Committee. Until this point, our committee has taken 2 major trips, one to Sacramento in January and one to Washington, D.C. this past March. And as you can see on the PowerPoint, these 4 topics were the biggest issues for our students this year and the ones that we really tried to focus on in our legislative agenda. So in terms of college affordability, there were 2 major House bills regarding to federal financial aid as well as America's College Promise. As for the PROSPER Act, that had to do with the reauthorization of the Higher Education Act, and I'm sure most of you must be familiar with it. The next one would be OER, or Open Educational Resources, which has to do with lowering textbook costs by providing free resources online for students to access. And of course, as Natalie mentioned, mental health is another big one that we're going to be trying to cover on our next trip to Sacramento upcoming this spring.
All right, thank you. Next slide, please. And so again, like I mentioned before, advocacy is a really, 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 really important thing for us to see on the board. With a simple Google search or a trip to IEC, it's really, really easy to collect the quantitative data, so numbers, graph charts, all that stuff, to describe what's going on with students. But then when really making decisions and figuring out why these are the results from this data, what will help really make sure to make the decisions in the best interest of students is knowing the quantitative data. So again, our job as AS is to bring the very raw and real feedback and experiences that students are facing to help make sure that people who are working in the administrative level can make decisions that can best cater to us. And so one of the ways that we really want to do this is through our Advocacy Week. So during this week in fall, we focused a lot on mental health as well as DACA and our underrepresented communities. And so what we did, we invited an immigration lawyer on campus. We also held workshops to help finish your AB 540 affidavit and resumes also, so people can apply to scholarships. And we also ended our week with our student empowerment rally, which I will have Christopher explain more about.
On the Thursday of Advocacy Week, we had our student empowerment rally. Along with the clubs on campus, we gave students an opportunity to come and have a space where they can share the realities that they experience in their daily lives. We provided boards that had 4 different subtopics, and under these 4 subtopics, students were able to come and have a space where their voices that are too often silenced, where they have that opportunity to be able to share what is real to them. And this was a chance for other students on campus to not only sympathize our fellow students, but to know how they can aid our other fellow students.
And so like Chris mentioned, we had 4 separate boards displayed out in front of the C building with different headers that can describe different marginalized communities. And so just to give y'all a little insight, I actually will be having some of the board members read some of these student feedbacks for you. So starting with the board member that's closest to me.
I am an undocumented student, and I am here to stay because a paper document does not define who can follow their dreams.
I am an LGBT student, and I want you to know that I can be legally fired from my job and evicted from my home in 28 states solely because of my sexuality.
I am a student of color, and I am aspiring to be an entrepreneur and own my own clothing company for breast cancer and youth who go through foster care. Said by a student, Ashton May.
I am a woman, and I want you to know, when I walk late at night or jog after dark, I'm not tirelessly fearless, but I am trusting you to be a decent human being.
So these are feedback from students, real students who walk on this campus every day with goals and dreams and aspirations. And so at the administrative level, during shared governments or creating policy within Board of Trustees, when you're really questioning what's happening with our retention rates, what's happening with completion rates, how can we improve this, experiences like these are things that we really need to take in account. So next, on our next slide. Some of the ways that we want to be bridging the gap between students and professors is through our community nights. And I am going to have Jude and Alejandro explain a little bit more.
Hello again, I'm Jude. Community Nights is a new event and a project that Alejandro and I have initiated. It's a new event where we're really focusing on bridging the gap between professors and students. Because Alejandro and I believe the connection between students and professors is really important for their success. A student can get so much from professors outside the academic environment, and so we created this community night. As I mentioned, this idea was initiated from the fact that we both have experienced professors where they gave us more, where they shared their experiences, their career journey, and that have influenced our motivation to come to school and to actually achieve our future careers. Alejandro's going to explain more about the event.
So also part of why we created this event is because Jude and I, and actually the whole AES, believe that the main part for any student that is going to make them wake up at 6 a.m. and be on time for their 7 a.m. class is the motivation. But that motivation is primarily coming also for the relationship with the professor and also how good the professor is to add value to coming at a 7 a.m. class, not only for a grade or not only because it's a requirement, but because the students see value on coming to that. So we wanted to open a space like that, and the way we did it is we planned a number of 6 nights. We broke it out in 3 nights before spring break and the next 3 after spring break. Each of them is unique, is connected, as for, it was a casualty that the topic that is uniting all these nights is water. So so far, our first night was 2 Tuesdays ago. It was Professor Munoz. She's an anthropology professor, and she presented on water in Peru. And last night, we had the honor to have Dr. West as our presenter, and I myself participated on that one as a musician. So each night has a different approach, but still is united with the topic of water, looking at water from different perspectives. Next week, we will have the natural sciences coming and taking their own approach. So the whole point of this is really to bring faculty and students together and engage in conversation, because we really believe that that's the point in which that makes the difference in the lives not only of students, but also in professors to get to know each other better.
All right, thank you, Alejandro. Next slide, please. And lastly, international students. So this is something that we're currently working on very, very paying close attention to at this moment. And so at first, we collected a report of different testimonials and student feedback of what international students thought of the services that we offered here at PCC for them. So I first want to start off by allowing Yahya to read one of the testimonials that was given.
Thank you. Another situation that is very important and can be improved is the accessibility to the International Student Office. This office is constantly dealing with a lot of legal situations, and I do not think they are as efficient and helpful as they could be.
All right, and Alejandro?
Well, as you know, I think I was here in the last meeting, and I wanted to offer just a few thoughts about what our concern is with international students. And the only objective of having this presentation or giving this topic to you right now is, to bring the voices and the qualitative data to you in terms of international students is part of the population of this school. And as for now, we would like to see also the improvement of the services that are given to international students. So pretty much, I gathered the 10 voices of students. It was a very quick gathering of information in which I just asked them to give some feedback on how they felt coming to school as international students in terms of housing, in terms of the services offered, like for scholarships, the financial aspect. We know that a big, not issue, but a big aspect of being an international student is that we cannot work outside of campus. And sometimes it's even hard for us to go and find a job. We don't have an office that I can go and ask, can I have help looking for a job on campus? I have to go door by door saying, can I have a job here? So it was just a concern about that, and we just wanted to keep in mind to you as you go outside and do your job outside of campus, to keep in mind also the situation of international students here on campus. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Alejandro. And so lastly, with this presentation, we not only wanted to bring forth all the great things that we've been doing on campus, but most importantly, our job is always to advocate, like we've been repeating throughout this presentation. And so with the topics that we brought up, as Alejandro was stating, as you all are going out and you're networking and you're doing your job and you're meeting people and you're seeking out these opportunities to help students, I really would hope that y'all would keep these things in mind, like mental health awareness, like our need for better opportunities for our international students, and so on and so forth. And so lastly, I would just like to say thank you to the board for being amazing. All I had to do was introduce the ideas of innovation and explain to them what equity was, and they ran with it. When y'all have the time, I highly encourage you to really look in depth at the beautiful pamphlet that Natalie made for y'all. There's some really great stuff, and we have even more coming. And so, next slide, please. Lastly, I felt this picture was a perfect indicator of the love we have for PCC and the opportunities that we get to really build great relationships with people who are not just our level as students, but also staff, faculty, administration, our very own president, Dr. Verdian. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
One guy in the back.
I do want to say I think you're all wonderful ambassadors for Pasadena City College, and I applaud you all for coming forward in your busy schedules and your student activities
Thank you for having us.
help the student body of PCC and Pasadena City College community. So you should all be congratulated, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Ms. Watt?
Yeah, I just, every year when we do this, I just think, boy, it just can't get any better. But every year it's just great. So there's 3 words I want to say that I think really describe you and how I feel about you. So as I look at you, these are the faces of a diverse group that's a great model and really demonstrates this is a diverse community that we serve and represent. And these students, I think, definitely this is a great image for us. The other thing is this is probably one of the most proactive groups that I have seen. I think when we went out to legislative, I was so impressed with the students who came with us, how proactive you were in researching the issues before we met with the legislators and really brought those out. It demonstrated that you were interested in things they were interested in, and when you asked for advocacy, I think that was just really, a really great example of great leadership. And the other thing is, you know, when as Trustee Ekshim was talking, I was listening to you talk. There was sort of a process that was started by Trustee Garipian last year, and I think it's continued and even gotten better, and that was building this pipeline of leadership, really getting these ad hoc committees and really teaching the students behind you to all come up into leadership and then to prepare yourselves for that next rung as students start to leave our college and the ones who are still here are moving into leadership positions. That's really a great example for all of us. We should all be building these pipelines of leadership. So anyway, just kudos to all of you for a great job you're doing. I think the surveys are excellent. One of the comments I've heard from some of the students, and I really was happy to hear that you're reaching out to some of the part-time students, is those students who are not who are the non-traditional students who don't get to come to school all the time. They have to come at night. They just so they're always looking for a way. How do they connect? How do they get heard? So I'm really glad that you're taking that into consideration. You're looking at it. So great job.
Thank you, Ms. Law. Mr. Osterling?
I'm going to pile on here and also add my compliments to the group. And it's so impressive to hear your activities on top of having to take care of the academics as well and everything else that's going on in your life. And I want to call out specifically Adrian and Gabby and Emily, who have joined us at legislative summits in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C., to articulate the needs for the community college students directly to our legislators at the state level and at the national level. I think it takes time, but I think our legislators hear you. I also want to repeat my commendation for those students that participated in the walkout last month, and I think if you make your voices heard in an organized manner and you persist, I think that you will achieve support for your objectives and accomplish great things. So again, my congratulations to everybody and all your activities and what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
And actually, for our walkout, we also collected wonderful quantitative data as well. So if any of y'all are interested in seeing what the students' feedback was, I'm more than happy to share it with you.
We are, all of us.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
Mr. Hilsman?
Yeah, well, I second all the comments, and you know, the great joy for us as trustees, and I think the reason that we serve is to see the accomplishments of the students and the leadership. I wanted to just ask Gabby, I guess, because you had mentioned voter registration, and what exactly do you have in mind for the voter registration campaign?
I don't believe I did
Oh, you did
mention
not.
that, but I do
Okay.
remember attending a meeting
Somebody
of the
said, maybe
Democratic
I'm projecting, or it's wishful thinking, but.
Right. If anything, I would be really happy to work with the Democratic Club and maybe even OCA GLA that was there at that meeting that Natalie and I were invited to by you.
Yeah.
In the future. Yeah, it'd be great to get in touch and maybe have something going on.
We have secret agendas.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left for that in the spring. So.
Good, but then also you did mention OER, and I wanted to know what activities you're doing to sort of lobby for OER on campus.
Actually, it's interesting that you bring that up because we haven't been doing that much in terms of getting in touch with students and publicizing the possibility and expanding OER on our campus. I know that right now it's very much just an administrative effort. I know that one of the librarians, Walter Butler, he's kind of like taken over the project as a whole, and so we kind of go to him when we want to know things about what's going on, and also to our OER committee. In terms of lobbying, there is one specific bill that's been reintroduced year after year, and so we're kind of pushing for that as well. I think it's just been a matter of getting it to be a bipartisan thing, which is kind of a struggle.
Right.
And also in terms of OER as well, Walter Butler is really good at communicating with me and updating me on different uh, like efforts that are going on in other campuses as well.
Right.
And so we do have plans to create an OER resolution to help raise awareness as well, and just so we have something solidified on our side. And then another great idea that was brought up that we're still in the process of organizing is also creating a video too to help advertise OER on campus.
Yeah, I think it's important, and I know the Faculty Senate's active in this too. So this is a coordinated effort for to educate the students and faculty about that important initiative.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown.
Thank you. So I would like to congratulate you guys. You did an excellent job, very well organized group. And, you know, with all the stuff that's going around with bullying and, you know, lack of support, I was very impressed to see how you guys defined your goals, in particular mental health. You know, there's just so much that goes on, and to see that instead of that approach of bullying, you guys came and support, talked to folks that went through after the tragedy that we all knew went through. You guys gathered together, and I think for you as a body to see the need to stick together and help each other, I thought that was just fabulous. And not to mention, you know, one of the biggest things that I know many of you have witnessed or see that people are having problem with housing. So, you know, those are very, very good, thoughtful goals that you defined, and I want to applaud you for those.
Thank you.
Yes, President Burdine.
This is a group of associated student government that is among the best in not only California, but the nation. They control a huge amount of money, one of the biggest amounts of money that, all laughing, all kidding apart, but of all community colleges in California, I must say we are blessed in Pasadena to have an associated student body that controls such a huge amount of money and yet does a wonderful job at distributing this money for the benefits of students, for scholarships, and for enhancing the quality of instruction that we have in this institution. And as the president of this institution, I want to commend you for this work and thank you for the work that you do.
Again, thank you very much. And during my last stint as president of the Board of Trustees, I attended your meetings when I was invited. So if you invite me, I would like to come because I'm always impressed. And also, I have you and I have talked about some activities. I'd like to come and present them to the trustees, or to the student trustees.
Yes, of course. So we actually have our next board meeting, which will be next Friday at our Foothill campus, too, at 9 a.m. And then also following, I believe, April 27th is when we'll have our meetings back on campus every Friday at 9 a.m.
Okay, we'll talk after.
Very cool.
Mr. Salvage?
Right, I've seen a few of these presentations. This was obviously extremely well prepared and well presented. So congratulations, you did a great job.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll take 3 minutes, and then we'll continue with the Board of Trustees meeting. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember was it last year? good, but I'm not having any. What is all this? Get out!
There's like 40 kids in preschool and like 10 kids.
Beat that thing down, boy.
They're thinking.
Will the Board of Trustees please take their seats?
Yeah, get over here. God knows. I don't need this. This is too small. She needs to get, this fits my little girl. What size is yours?
Okay, we're going to continue with our consent items today, and the first group of consent items deal with students and the wishes of the trustees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Brown. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next group of items deal with instruction. Any the wishes of the trustees?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Hilsman, a second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next group of consent items deal with business. The wishes of the trustees?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion?
Yes.
Yep.
Ms. Watt?
Yes, I would like a little more information on F2 and then on F10 regarding the Dream Fulfilled. I think I had a few more questions on that.
Can we pull those out and
Yes,
approve the
please.
rest and then
Yes.
And-
send those separately?
F2 and 10?
Yes.
And F5.
2, 5, and 10.
2, 5, 10.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve all of them except for 2, 5, and 10.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr.
Second.
Osterling, a second from Ms. Watt. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, item F2. For further discussion?
Yeah, so on F2, on the Career Pathway Grant, I was unclear on the answers we got back from that. So it sounded like this is going mostly for software. Is that what the answer was, the response was? I was just unclear, and then I wasn't sure that if it was going mostly for software, what were the intended outcomes of that? Because it covers career development, job placement, student tracking. So just a little more information.
Okay, Dr. Juni will provide us with the answer.
No, it's not just for software. Basically, what's happening is that we have been in conversations about utilizing space in the IT building to basically set up what will be a career and completion center. And it will ultimately be for all students at PCC, not just career technical education students, but obviously those students will be served by this as well. So that's how we're using some of the career pathway money for this. There's other funds that we'll be using for this, but this whole project, so to speak, will renovate that space and then also require computers, software, and other furniture and things of that nature to set up this facility. Some of the software that was mentioned is software that's available through the state to help students in that area, but really this project is much bigger than just that. And so I don't know if that helps or.
It does, yeah, but I was just, the answer was unclear to me. And then on the, so this, whatever part is going into the software for career development, job placement, how will that articulate to what we're doing statewide across the workforce? Is it the same software, different software? Does it?
It's utilizing probably we'll be utilizing what's being put forward by the state. So we're utilizing some of that, but we also are looking at other softwares that might also become part of that. The whole idea of this really, or part of what drove this, is the new funding formula for strong workforce that basically 1/6 of that funding is based on job placement and keeping jobs. And so that was part of what drove this, because historically the California Community College system helps students transfer and we help students complete their degrees and certificates, but we're not really good at placing them in work. And so the whole idea of this is to start doing a better job of that. And so some of the software that is available that's come down from the state through the SWP work will be utilized, but we're not limiting ourselves to that, and we're looking at other things that will serve our students.
Okay, so I'll ask this again when they ask for new agenda items, but I think this is also relevant to the item that we had in a prior board meeting where we asked for scorecard information on the workforce. So perhaps it would be great if we had
We're
a
presenting on-
presentation.
If I may add here, Trustee
Sure.
Wise, this career center is going to be what will propel the college forward in making us get more money from the strong workforce program, because since the emphasis now is also on placement of students and also in getting them to improve their earning potential, the upgrading and preparation of this career center, which will be right across from here, is what will accomplish these
Great.
outcomes.
Great, thank you. I look forward to a future presentation.
Dr. Verdine, could I add one?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I would add to that is, because this will actually be a career and completion center, and so from the standpoint of the SWP funding formula, the idea of placing students in jobs will help, obviously, students, but will also help the institution because some of our funding will be based on that. But also in regard to the conversations about a new funding formula, where that's going is about completion, which are degrees, certificates, and transfer. And so the idea of this facility will also help in that regard to help students complete their degrees, certificates, and get a job.
Great, thank you very much.
Ms. Brown?
Yeah, so I had asked that, I had a question regarding that, but I was a little confused a little bit. So I fully now understand the idea behind creating the center. But my initial question was, when I think of the LA High Tech Consortium, I'm thinking, well, I was told that it's a group of schools, right, of high schools. So my question was, is this center going to be specific only for PCC students, or other students that are part of this consortia will be benefited? Since the money is, I think we're the leader of this consortia, so I'm wondering the legality. That's really what I'm wondering about.
So the answer, and maybe it's not a simple answer, is that this is for PCC students. It will also serve high school students in our area that are coming here, and part of the linkage there is kind of related to what we're doing with guided pathways. And as we develop our guided pathways, they'll be linked through dual enrollment with the high schools to help feed those students in. The only way it would benefit the other colleges that are part of that consortium is if those students chose to take classes at PCC, and then they would be able to utilize this center as well.
So may I just follow up one thing, just for my clarification? So if we are part of a group, that's what I'm trying to understand. If we're a part of a group that is getting monies to do all this work, how is it that PCC can take that money just to fix us up instead of everybody else? That's where I'm having a little
Well,
problem.
so that money is basically to support the consortium.
Right.
But each college that's part of that consortium gets certain parts of that money
Okay.
to do things at their college.
Okay,
to
thank you.
benefit
That's
their
what I
students.
need to know.
Our share.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5 is,
Maybe it would be good to just approve this one first, and then we'll.
okay, I'll entertain a motion to
Move to
approve.
approve.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Ms. Brown. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5 is authorization to solicit bids for the athletics
I
field
think we
trip.
had several other items under F that we were
Yeah,
asked.
that's
F-
we're on the
one of
F5.
Oh,
Well,
I'm so sorry.
Fours.
Disregard.
And was it Mr. Salvage? Did you have questions?
Right. One sort of offhand question. How long does the field last, one of these artificial turf fields, approximately?
Dr. Story?
What, 5 years, 10 years?
The useful life is generally up to 8 years.
Okay.
And at that point, it starts to rip and tear, and that's when it becomes a safety hazard.
Right, okay. Now, that's something that I recall came up this past year. I was contacted by some people in the district. They were asking if I knew why we weren't able to continue to have some sports programs with the league and all that. When the field is redone, are we going to be able to reinstate that?
We will make the field available again to the communities like we've been doing in the past.
Great, thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Hilsman, excuse me, a motion from Mr. Hilsman, a second from Ms. Watt. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10 is to approve and ratify contracts.
Yeah, so this was B1803070, the Dream Fulfilled. I didn't understand that answer, I guess, because I actually had the same question. Why, so even after you give the rights to do this, why would we allow the name to be called Pasadena Junior College as opposed to Pasadena City College?
Okay, I will have Alex answer that. It has to do with going back in time to relive that period when Jackie Robinson was at the college. That's what that company is doing, and Alex can give a better explanation than that.
There's not much to add to that. Thank you. This is an agreement with an organization that would like to license. They have already got an agreement to license Jackie Robinson's image, and they would like to license elements of the college's brand from the Jackie Robinson era to reproduce Jackie Robinson in bobblehead form and other merchandise in partnership with the Negro League Baseball Museum. And so they are just seeking permission to use the name Pasadena Junior College, as it was when Robinson played here, in his reproduced uniform and such.
Okay. And then I just want to say kudos on this item for the internships that were actually developed. I don't know if you all noticed, there's like 3 or 4 internships that were developed under this item, so great job.
Thank you. And the wishes of the
Move
trustees?
to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next group of consent items deal with personnel issues. The wishes of the trustees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Dr. Salvage. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Student trustee doesn't vote.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't vote.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Pardon me, Tony.
And if I
Fine.
may, I'm just going to do a shout out to Harry Bloodgood, 38 years,
Yeah.
and Glenna Watterson, 40 years.
Okay, our first action item today deals with the California Community College Trustees Board election. And Ms. Watt?
Okay, so you had 7 candidates who are applying for 5 positions. Of those, 3 are incumbents. I would like to recommend all 3 incumbents be selected for the ballot. Ann Ransford of Glendale Community College, who is the current president of the CCCT. Brent Hasty of Yuba Community College, who we know and has come here for workshops with us. And Don Edgar of Sonoma County College. All 3 of these trustees have been very active in the league. They've all contributed. They give workshops. They've taken leadership positions, and I think I would recommend that they continue. So that leaves us to new positions then that we would be able to select, to vote on. And so, some of the criteria I look at are, what is the representation of gender, male versus female, ethnicity, Northern California, Southern California. And roughly we have about 50%, 10 female, 11 males, 4 Latinos, 1 API, 2 African Americans, roughly 50% divided between Southern California and Northern California. So we'll be, 2 of the trustees will be terming out this year. Trustee Jaffe from Santa Monica and Trustee Hart from Imperial Valley will be terming out. So 2 trustees that I would recommend, one would be Eric Payne, who is from State Center College, so he would be representing a northern college. And, but Eric has also, is just the immediate past president of the African American Caucus in the Community College Trustees Board, and has been very active and has participated with the joint caucuses on common issues across the state. And I think both Greg Pensa and Greg Bonacarsi have both come out and done, sent information. I have not heard from Suzanne Woods, and I think that when you apply for these state positions, it's important to show a little activity and enthusiasm for the position. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see Greg Pence's video, but frankly, I was pretty blown away by it. And I don't know, Dr. Verdi, I think we're going to have to do those videos for all of our trustees when we run for election. It was pretty professional. So I would recommend, boy, just based on effort, Greg Pensa, but Greg has also been very active in the league. So those would be the 5 trustees that I would recommend for the ballot.
So Ms. Waugh is recommending Ann Ransford, Brent Hasty, Don Edgar, Eric Payne, and
Greg Pensa.
Greg Pensa. Is that the wishes of the trustees?
I defer to Ms. Waugh's considerable experience at the state level and motion that we accept her recommendation.
I would second that.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you, Ms. Waugh, for always being on top of this. The second item today, the action item, is the PCC Rosemead substantive changes in the proposal. Dr. Verdian?
Anytime an institution has an off-site location where students can earn more than 50% of credits towards a degree, the Accrediting Commission requires that we submit what is known as a substantive change proposal. That's just the name of the document. It's called a substantive change. There is no change that is happening in our curriculum, but that document is known as a substantive change proposal, and all it says is that we're informing the Commission that students who take classes at the Rosemead Center can earn more than 50% of credits leading to a degree over there. And if we don't do that, the Commission will ding us when they come back for our next full accreditation visit. They will give us, they will have a finding on us. So that is what this document is showing. And yes, Trustee Austin.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Are you finished?
No, I'm done.
I just wanted to commend Dr. Verdian, Dr. Bell, and everybody that's involved with our satellite campuses. I think that it is awesome that we've reached this stage where a student can complete 50% or more of their degree at the Rosemead facility, because that is the outer reaches of our district. So kudos to you and the administration.
Ms. Brown?
So just a question. So because of us achieving this, which is very good, when it comes to accreditation, would Rosemead have to be like a standalone facilities for accreditation, or would it be under PCC?
No, Rosemead will always be under PCC. This is just informing the Commission that students don't have to come to our main campus. They can stay there and earn more than 50% towards a degree. And when the Commission comes here for our next study in 3 years, they are not going to say, well, let us take a look at Rosemead. They're going to look at the college, at the district as a whole.
Okay.
Ms. Watt?
So I do I did understand the response I got back on my question that, you know, it just gives us an opportunity because to expand the classes. But I still worry a little bit because I know we've been in a little discussion about the facilities at Rosemead. And I just want to make sure, I mean, if this encourages more students to come, but there might be some tentativeness about whether or not we'll still have the facility. I don't know if that's still.
This doesn't deal with all that. All
I-
this is a simple information item for the commission, because the commission must always be informed if something new is happening. And this is a requirement of the commission. If you can take, let's say, for example, we were offering classes at the Arcadia High School in the evening. And if students taking PCC classes in the evening at the Arcadia High School, if the courses being offered there constitute more than 50% of courses required towards a degree, we will have to submit that same document known as a substantive change proposal to the commission. And when Arcadia says to us, well, you know, you can't be offering classes here anymore, this document has no value. It disappears by itself. So let's assume that El Monte School District says to us, well, you know, your lease has come to an end, we will not renew it. This document just disappears. It disintegrates by itself, and it doesn't hold anybody accountable for anything. This is just what you would call a pure discovery or information item, transparency.
Okay.
And the commission requires that.
Okay, I understand that now. That's more
Okay.
detail. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the PCC Rosemead substantive change proposal for submission to the ACC JC.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The third and final action item today is approval of resolution authorizing layoff of classified positions due to the lack of work and or lack of funds implementing Education Code Section 88017. Dr. Verdian?
The International Student Program at PCC is a very important program. You heard today in the presentation by the Associated Government Students about the part that plays and the number of international students that we have at the college. Given the fact that this population is increasing, the college feels that the program will be better served by a significantly higher level position, the position of a director responsible for the program. Currently, we have that position is being overseen by an assistant director. What we are recommending is that we eliminate that position of assistant director and we move forward towards the hiring of a position of director. And this is a legal requirement that needs the district to pass a resolution eliminating that position and allowing us, therefore, to create a position of director, which will elevate the status of our international student program.
The wishes of the directors?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. This is the time we move into information items. Mr. President?
Well, I would like to start my report by recognizing the sad events that shook our nation 50 years ago today, when the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. King's death is not the only one to have been commemorated in recent days. Last week marked the passing of Linda Brown, who, as a third grader, was made to walk past the school for white children and catch a bus to her segregated black school in Topeka, Kansas. The Supreme Court case that bears her name, Brown v. Board of Education, was a landmark victory for civil rights in our nation. While their legacy lives on, the struggles undertaken by Ms. Brown and Dr. King are far from complete. All of us at PCC strive to serve our community as completely and compassionately as did those two. I am very pleased to announce that the guest speaker at this year's commencement exercises will be USC education professor Sean Harper. An expert on race and equity, Dr. Harper is recognized as one of the nation's leading authorities on education policy and practice. He was on the faculty of University of Pennsylvania before coming to USC as a provost professor at the Rosier School of Education and the Marshall Business School, and he is the founder of the Race and Equity Center at USC. We are excited to welcome him to speak to our graduates as they transition to the next phase of their education and their careers. Commencement is Friday, June 16th, and I'm sure we will see all of you there. PCC is one of 7 Los Angeles County colleges to be recognized by the Campaign for College Opportunity as part of their Promises That Count initiative. You will remember that the campaign's Linda Vasquez addressed our board meeting in January regarding our work in granting associate degrees for transfer. Our most recent recognition stems from the PCC promise that we launched last year and that we intend to expand this fall. The campaign's focus is on promises that move beyond providing access to encouraging completion, and we are very proud to have our efforts honored in this way. I want to thank all our faculty and staff who have made this possible. Our Student Services Department have been collaborating to encourage students to graduate this spring. We have successfully extended the deadline by which students must submit graduation petitions to prove their completion of their degree requirements. We believe these actions will increase even further the number of students we graduate this year. We have also received word from Executive Vice Chancellor Vanton Quinlivan for our workforce and digital futures that several of PCC's career education programs have been rewarded for improvements in outcomes for students and graduates. We've earned stars in all 3 areas, known as the Bronze Star, Silver Star, and Gold Stars. PCC is one of the few institutions statewide that have received Gold Stars. For example, our dental hygiene program graduates have seen a 390% increase in earnings. These data come straight from the Chancellor's office. And 96% of our radiologic technology students have attained a living wage. Yes. These are incredibly encouraging results and a true testament to the potential of a community college education. We will be featured in a video soon to be released by the Chancellor's office. Tomorrow, our very own Trustee Linda Wah, the President-elect of the Association of California Community College Trustees, will be recognized for a contribution to the field of education by the San Gabriel Valley Civic Alliance. Congratulations, Trustee Wah. And lastly, there are 2 events next week that I hope you plan to attend. On Tuesday, April 10, we will welcome superintendents and principals from our local high schools to campus for our semi-annual luncheon. These educators will learn about our efforts to build a math program that meets our students' needs while progressing through college more quickly. The event is from 11 to 1 p.m. and it begins at the patio off of the G1 conference room. On Friday, April 13, our annual legislative breakfast will take place at the Foothill campus. We look forward to welcoming our local elected leaders and their representatives to join us in a discussion about our interests at the state and federal level. That event begins with breakfast at 8 a.m. and the program will start promptly at 8:30. This concludes my report.
Are there any comments or questions for the President? If not, we'll move on to announcements, and we'll begin with shared governance. And we have 2 today.
Hello
Ms.
again.
Joseph.
Hi, good evening. The Senate welcomed back Dr. David Colley this week as he's returned to fulfill his role as parliamentarian. We'd like to thank Denise Albright for her willingness to serve in this capacity during Dr. Colley's absence. She will now return to her professional development coordinator assignment. Also, last week, Dr. Jason Robinson held an open forum for classified professionals to discuss the needs of professional development. Members of the Classified Senate were present and engaged in meaningful conversations and listened to the input of other classified employees. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lamb.
Hello. So on March 23rd, I believe, we had our board meeting at the Rosemead campus. And then this coming Friday, I believe it is the 6th, we will be having our meeting at our Foothill campus. And on April 13th, our meeting is canceled because we will be at the legislative breakfast as well. And lastly, right now, one of the things that we're really focusing on is also creating a position on our board of some sort that was dedicated solely to reaching out to our satellite campuses. So it's something that we have seen and we are acknowledging and recognizing that we've kind of neglected our campus in the past in terms of bringing a student life there. And so we really want to be proactive and work on that. So
thank you very much.
That concludes my report.
And our student trustee?
Good evening, everyone. Currently, my Student Trustee Ad Hoc Committee and I are preparing for the Hygienic Products Drive, which we will be hosting next Wednesday and Thursday, the 11th and 12th of April. And so the purpose of this drive is to extend the Lancer Pantry to include hygienic products such as shampoo and toiletries for all students, especially those who are unable to access it otherwise. And lastly, PCC's Armenian Student Association Club would like to propose a resolution regarding that Pasadena City College commemorates the 103rd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide of 1915. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll turn to the trustees. Ms. Wah.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to remind all the trustees and everyone of a couple of events. So April 27th, we will be having the APA-facing gubernatorial debate here at the PCC campus in the Sexton Auditorium. It is the first and only APA-facing debate that we have had in the state, and so we hope that there'll be a great turnout. Also next week, we will have the Asian Pacific American Higher Education Conference, and I will be presenting with Board Member Fan and Trustee Wong. So we'll be talking about policymaking from the lens of the trustees. So I know, Dr. Reardon, you normally go, and I think Board Member Fan said he was really happy to be able to have dinner with you, so he hopes to see you again. I know you have lots of things to do. And then to remind all the trustees that the league will be having their next conference, and we'll be voting for all of the trustees based on the ballot. So they'll announce the winning trustees, I guess, for the election, and then we'll be also voting on the board for the league, for the trustees league, and that will be at the upcoming May conference, and it will be in Valencia. And Trustee Jennings from the district, from the College of the Canyons district, lives next to the Disney Park. So Disney Park Ranch. That's right. So she has offered to twist Disney's arm to get us a tour over there. So it should be good. And although it's just next door, and if you get bored, you can always go to Magic Mountain. So I just wanted to talk about a few opportunities. So I was just mentioning to President Lamb that the transit issue is still going forward, and as many of you have seen, Assemblymember Holden's bill on transit will be going forward again and for approval, and so he is asking for everyone to send letters of support, so I hope that we will do that. And then a couple of opportunities that came up in the area. The San Marino Tribune, so the owners of the San Marino Tribune in South Pasadena have offered to put in ads for free on our pantry. So I know Trustee Ekshian is putting together an ad for the hygiene product. So I hope that we'll go forward on the pantry product. And also the San Marino Police Department is offering internships for cadets. So I hope we'll get good response on that. We kind of missed out on the journal internship. But I know that I was pleased to see the internship opportunities that we're developing, so I hope we'll really start to move forward on some of those internship opportunities. Thank you.
Linda, before you quit, when is that gubernatorial debate?
It's on April 27th, so it's a Friday.
And which candidates are attending?
So it'll be Chung, it's APA facing, Easton, Villaraigosa, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the GOP candidates.
Newsom?
No, he has refused. Cox, yeah.
Newsom's not debating.
Well, they're pressuring him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the only one.
Linda, what time?
I believe it's at 6, but I'll send it out to you all again. And if there's any questions that you would like to make sure get asked at the forum, they're taking those questions now. So I'll send it out to everyone.
Ms. Wall, when are when is in May is the conference in Valencia?
So it's the first weekend in May. I believe it's May 5th to the 7th. So it's Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
No report, thank you.
Mr. Hilsman?
None, thank you.
Mr. Osterling?
I wanted to reiterate and reinforce Dr. Verdian's comments about the events of 50 years ago today. I was a very young boy at the time, but I kept up with current events because I had a newspaper route, so I read all the papers while I folded them. And we lived in turbulent times, but Dr. Martin Luther King was a personal hero of mine, even at that young age. And I still remember exactly where I was in the events when I heard the tragic news. I hope, though, that his life was not lived in vain, and I don't think it was. I think we've made great strides since his passing, although there's more work to be done. Number two, Dr. Verdian also mentioned Ms. Vasquez and the college campaign, and I was actually at a event that they're sponsoring just this past week. They are taking videotape events with each of the major gubernatorial campaigns, and the subject of the videotapes is higher education. And what they're doing is kind of ingenious. They're asking them very direct and pointed questions, and they're capturing their answers or their promises on videotape, so whoever our next governor is will be on record about their positions on support for the higher education here in the state of California. But also after the taping session, which was for candidate Chung, I had a chance to speak on the side to Ms. Vasquez, and she told me, I don't know if this news is out yet, but PCC will be #1 again for transfer here in the state of California. So if that news isn't out yet, that's a heads up on that. And then, once again, congratulations to Ms. Wah, and I'm glad I'll be able to join you for the celebration tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Oh, thank you. So I have no report, but I will say that I was very happy on Wednesday. No, today's Wednesday. And Tuesday when I went to my dentist's office to get my teeth cleaned, and they
I'm just
called.
wondering what she's going to say.
No cavities?
False teeth, okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's on me, right? Okay, so as I was in the chair and the hygienist started taking her little, you know what they do, to check your pockets and what have you. So this young lady, she said, I will have to get my intern to come and help me. So this young lady came in. She told me her name, but I forgot it. I said, so where do you go to school? Oh, and behold, Pasadena City College struck again. So I was just so delighted to have another intern working over at my dentist's office and representing Pasadena City College. So it appears that the concept of internship is really catching on. And it's really a good feeling. So let's keep this internship going. That's the key.
Thank you very much. Dr. Salvage?
No announcement.
Thank you. I will now turn to future board business meetings, you have a schedule. I did ask if we could move the May 16th meeting to the 23rd. We will be meeting May 2nd for the selection of the president or selection of candidates. And the 9th is a big event, I think it is. And then we have a regular meeting the 23rd. If you don't want to, I have a speaking engagement in San Gabriel Valley, but I can get out of it if you don't want to change.
What's the new date?
Would be the week after the 23rd.
So instead of the 16th, it'll be the 23rd, right?
23rd.
Okay.
Well, I'll move approval that we move the regular business meeting on May 16th to May 23rd.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion from Mr. Martin, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And thank you very much. Approved
on the-
unanimously. Proposed future agenda items? Any others to add?
Linda
Okay.
had one.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll just reiterate again that I hope that we will get a presentation soon on the workforce and the scorecard. so.
At the next meeting, you will get that presentation.
Thank you,
On
Dr.
the 20th. It
Meridian.
would have been on the 16th, but now it will be on the 23rd.
So now you have an extra week to
Right.
do it. Thank you very much.
The board will now be meeting in closed session to discuss the search for president. And so we will now move into closed session. Thank you.